Obligatory disclaimer. This information is intended for educational purposes only. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Anyone suffering from any disease, illness, or injury should consult with a physician. Perfect Purpose Herbs. Peace, love, what's going on, kings and queens? Alright, so we back in here with lesson number 2 today. We'll be going over the elder tree. Alright, so most people know it as elderberry, you know, so pretty much I'm gonna go straight in. So common name, elder. Sambucus, Nigra, Linn. Natural order, Capri, Foli, or Foliaceae. Common names: black elder, fever tree, pipe tree, hilder, healing tree. Alright, so I got little highlights or whatnot that I'm gonna just, you know, kind of just tap into for you all. So because of its important, or its great importance to us today, because it is so often indicated, and because of its safe, speedy, and remarkable effect in alleviating particularly or practically every known fever. In Denmark, okay, in Europe, in most European countries, especially in Denmark, the elder was intimately connected with magic. In its branches was supposed to reside a dryad, healed mower, which is like some kind of like folk story or whatnot, right? Like some sort of like almost like a witch. They used to hide into the trees and come out and, like, you know, just basically scare off people that had evil intent or, you know, malice in their heart or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, that would like come through into the city or into the town, you know, and try to invade the town, you know, like pretty much like this witch in the elder tree used to hide out and camp out or whatnot, you know, and chase off like the evil, you know, intended people or whatnot. So you got the Russians used to believe, says Lady Northcote, that elder trees drive away evil spirits, and the Bohemians go to it with a spell to take away fever. The leaves have an unpleasant odor when crushed, which is offensive to most insects, and a decoction of the young leaves is sometimes employed by gardeners to sprinkle over delicate plants and the buds of flowers to keep off the attacks of aphids and small caterpillars. The leaves of elder, bruised and worn in the hat or rubbed on the face, prevent flies settling on the person. An infusion of the young leaves dabbed on the face, neck, and exposed parts protects the parts from the attacks of mosquitoes, midges, and other troublesome flies. The leaves yield with the loam a green dye, with the loam in salt and lilac color. If sheep that are suffering with foot trot can get at the bark and young shoots, I guess that's like the roots, they will cure themselves. Interesting. So in 1644, okay, a book entirely devoted to its praise, The Anatomy of the Elder, translated from the Latin of Dr. Martin Blackwich by C. D. Aqiyl, and Army Doctor. This book contained 230 pages that in Latin and English went through several editions. It deals very learnedly with the medical virtues of the tree, its flowers, leaves, berries, middle, bark, pith, roots, and jew ears, which is a fungus found on the elder. Alright? So, the inner bark, that's going to be the first part of the elder tree that we're going to go into. It's going to be the bark. Alright? So, the inner bark of these elder trees. Okay? It is an alterative, a purgative, diuretic, emetic, anti-rheumatic, and anti-syphilitic. Chemical constituents: a soft resin, valeric acid, identical with valeric acid, a volatile oil, albumin, resin, fat, wax, chlorophyll, tannic acid, grape sugar, gum, sodium salts, and potassium sulfate, pectin, etc. The bark should be dried and kept for several months before use. The fresh bark, like cascara bark, is violently irritating and poisonous to children. Caution. In the treatment of cardiac and renal dropsies, as an emetic in biliary disorders, and for spasmodic asthma with copious phlegm and stringy mucoid matter, also for epilepsy, the infusion or decoction of the bark is most excellent, giving ease very quickly. So number 13. Okay, so basically these will start pretty much like some formulas or whatnot. All right, so make an infusion of the cut or granulated bark, 1 ounce to the pint. Okay, so 1 ounce of granulated bark to a pint of water. Stir well, cover, and let stand until cold. Strain, bottle, and keep in a cool place. Dose is going to be 1 wine glass full every 3 hours until bowels are evacuated, and in severe dropsy until urine is voided. If emesis is desired and this dosage does not bring it about, increase the dose till the desired effect is produced. After evacuation and urination has been established, reduce the dose to suit the case. Watery stool are to be avoided where there is no dropsy. For asthma, 1 tablespoonful when threatened. When threatened, and more if necessary. Okay, so then 1 or 2 more tablespoonful several times a day. To avoid excessive vomiting, add 1 leveled teaspoonful of powdered cloves to the infusion when made. To avoid excessive cramps in the bowels, add 1 heaping teaspoonful of powdered ginger to the infusion when made. I also personally have noticed that elderberries will help with settling the stomach. Okay, so an upset stomach that may feel queasy, sick, have you feeling nauseous somewhat, elderberries, just like ginger, just with water, and just make like an elderberry juice with it, is great for excessive cramps in the bowels as well. So with the flowers now, all right, so now we're moving on to the flowers. Okay, so that first one was the bark. All right, so with the flowers, these are alternatives, diuretic, aperient, sodorific, emetic, relaxant, calmative, and soporific. Chemical constituents: volatile oil, pectin, potassium chloride, potassium sulfate, sodium, magnesium, and calcium salts, and a small quantity of potassium nitrate for the treatment of colds, influenza, and fevers of all kinds. All right. So actually, the great herbalist Henry Box of Plymouth, England, says for colds, influenza, fevers, inflammation of the brain, pneumonia, inflammation of the lungs, stomach, bowels, or any part, this is a certain cure. All right, so I want to go back to this one part real quick. All right, so dig this. This is what caught my attention when I was first reading this. It says, considering that right after the last World War, upwards of 6 million people died of influenza. Upwards of 6 million people died of influenza. Reoccurring patterns. So I'm saying though. Okay. And that millions have died since. It is not a very great privilege and blessing to be in possession of a knowledge of such a remedy, such as this elder tree when it comes to influenza. Light bulb. All right, so carrying on. We are on the flowers. All right, put 2 ounces of dried elder flowers and 2 ounces of cut or granulated peppermint. Peppermint is not alkaline. I'm sure that you can find some sort of alternative, you know, that would be alkaline representation, into 1/2 pints of boiling water. Okay, of course we know natural spring water is going to be your best choice of water. All right, cover and let steep in a hot place for 30 minutes. Strain, sweeten with agave, and drink the whole as hot as possible while closely covered in bed. Cover a hot water bottle with a cloth or towel dipped in vinegar and place that to the feet. In a few minutes, there will be a copious perspiration. The pulse will slow down. The pulse, okay, will slow down, and the patient will sleep peacefully for hours. The cold infusion of elder flowers is a very fine remedy. The sore and inflamed eyes. The cold infusion of elder flowers is a very fine remedy for sore and inflamed eyes. The cold infusion as a general treatment for acidity, scrofula, and glandular enlargements, taken internally in wine glass full doses 3 or 4 times a day and apply outwardly for sprains, bruises, swollen glands, muscular soreness, stiffness, rheumatic pains, and so forth, will be found a most infectious remedy. Okay, so another formula, all right, for this here elder flower is going to be whereas pus either internally or externally, where is pus? Okay, take 4 ounces of cut Anaxia root, put into 1 quart of water, boil 5 minutes, then let steep for another 30 minutes in a hot place. Allow to cool, and when cold, strain and bottle and keep in a cool place. If it is desired, for any length of time. Add 25% glycerin and shake together. Okay, so some of these remedies in this book, keep in mind this is a very old book. All right, this is like one of those books of Eli, one of those books that Sabi used to study. Okay, but you know, from the angels at my command, you know, they pretty much taught me that, you know, you just take some of this with a grain of salt, further your education personally, and you will know how to make correct and more accurate substitutions when necessary. Okay, so you're going to put into 1 quart of water, boil 5 minutes, then let steep for another 30 minutes in a hot place, allow it to cool, and when cold, strain and bottle and keep in a cool place. If it is desired for any length of time, add 25% glycerin and shake together. For internal ulcers or cancers, also for skin diseases, dose 1 tablespoonful 3 or 4 times a day in a wine glass full of water. For outward application in skin disease, boils, tumors, or cancers, and so forth, apply on lint or a cotton ball of some sort. Cover with wax paper and again cover to keep in the heat. In the case of boils, it is advisable to sprinkle a few drops of eucalyptus, probably meaning eucalyptus oil, on the saturated lint before applying. So with the leaves of the elder tree, okay, these are a disconstituent or discusient, a resolvent, emollient, antiseptic. The leaves of the elder plant, although very effectual in dropsy, are not recommended because of their nauseous taste and somewhat drastic purgative properties. We find that we get ideal results with the bark and berries in that. Therefore, the leaves are not necessary for internal use. Okay? They are, however, extremely valuable into salves or oils for outward application towards wounds, burns, sunburn, bruises, contusions, sprains, and for many skin affections such as acne, itch, etc. Chemical constituents. Elder leaves contains an alkaloid called Sambucus, a purgative resin, a glucoside called samberginerin, cane sugar, inverting a considerable quantity of potassium nitrate, and a crystalline substance called eldrin. Sir Thomas Brown of 1655 stated, "The common people keep as good a secret for curing wounds the leaves of the elder, which they have gathered the last day of April, the leaves boiled soft in linseed oil for the relief of piles. The leaves of the elder crushed and the juice expressed are said by the old herbalists to be good for inflammation of the eyes. Snuffed up the nostrils, cold pepper declares, purgeth the brain." We do not offer the above as formulas, okay, but that you may know that the leaves are very virtuous for outward application in a large number of surface and semi-surface conditions. Our own formulas, we feel, will cover all conditions we need ever use them for. Okay, so with an ointment of elder leaves. So they're saying 4 ounces, okay, of fresh elder leaves, 6 ounces of melted lard. All right, so lard, you're talking like a pomade or Vaseline type of a substance, a feel, a texture. Okay, so that's the texture that you're looking for. Lard is like dead animal fat, so of course that's acidic as hell. We definitely don't want to ruin our bodies, our temples with anything such as that, you know. So finding an alternative for that, but with that same type of texture is quoted before, is ideal. All right, so 2 teaspoons of eucalyptus. Crush or bruise the leaves in a mortar combine with the lard and place in moderately heated oven or on a hot stove. Stir frequently until leaves are crisp and have lost their color. Strain through muslin with pressure, then add the eucalyptus, stirring it thoroughly. Pour into jars of suitable sizes, either 2, 4, or 8, or 16 ounces. This is a very fine salve for purulent sores, ulcers, infected wounds, and so forth. Applied on lint and covered. So, for oil of elder leaves, which is also referred to as green oil. Okay, so green oil of swallows is an old formula used for hemorrhoids, burns, wounds, and as an excellent treatment for my lady's skin. Said to remove freckles, discolorations, wrinkles, aging, and so forth. It is made by digesting with heat, or digesting with heat, meaning just heat it up, you know, not literally digesting internally. Okay, just heating it up. All right. Fresh elder leaves, 1 part in 3 parts of raw linseed oil, boiled till leaves are crisp. Strain while hot with pressure. We recommend the addition, while still warm and liquid, of 1 teaspoon of oil of lavender to each 4 ounces of the green oil, so as known as the elder leaves oil, with the mixed with the 3 parts of the raw linseed oil. Of course, that's what makes the green oil. All right, and then there is a third part, or a third formula to make this leaf concoction, and this here is going to be like a salve. All right, so the following salve is very highly recommended to be made and kept on hand for ready use in a variety of conditions. It is very fine for tumors and swellings, muscular rheumatism, stiff and aching back, and so forth. Take of elder leaves, 1/2 pound, plantain leaves, 1/4 pound, ground ivy, 2 ounces, and warm wood, 4 ounces. All these must be cut or granulated, but all green. Boil in 4 pounds of lard in the oven or over a slow fire. Stir them until the leaves become crisp. Strain and press out. While hot, stir in 1/2 ounce of eucalyptus. Pour into suitable size jars for use. Voila. Now we're going into the elderberries. All right. Elderberries are alterative, diuretic, aperient, emetic, resolvent. Chemical constituents of the elderberries: an odorous oil, vibernic acid, tyrosine, meliates of potassium and calcium. They were highly esteemed by our forefathers to be effective in rheumatism, syphilis, and particularly for erysipelas. So formula number 1, the incipiated or the inspiciated juice pressed from the fresh berries. Dose 1 to 2 drams, basically meaning like droplets, okay, in a little water as a gentle laxative and cleanser of stomach and bowels. For increased action, in doses of half an ounce or more, taken in hot water at night promotes perspiration and is excellent for recent colds with sore throat, chill, and so forth. Also recommend for nasal or bronchial cartus and asthma. Formula 2, almost from time immemorial, Arab, has been made as follows. Take of fresh crushed elderberries, 5 pounds, put into sufficient water to cover, simmer slowly for 15 minutes, strain and press. To the juice, add 1 pound of date sugar or maple sugar. Evaporate in a double boiler to the thickness of a honey or like an agave type of a texture, and pour into wide mouth jars which have been heated. It is cordial and aperient and diuretic. 1 or 2 tablespoons full mixed with a tumbler full of hot water, taken at night, promotes pleasant perspiration and is demulcent to the chest. We have occupied nearly 1 whole lesson with this wonderful herb, and we have given you several very valuable formulas. There are about 200,000 known herbs and 9,000 growing in the ocean. Needless to say, it would be quite impossible to describe even 100th part of them, especially as our descriptions are very lengthy and very complete. However, we believe that these herbs described in this treatise are more than sufficient to cover every pathological condition we shall ever be called upon to treat. Good treating, y'all. Peace, love. Check out the website, perfectpurposecellularfood.com.